There are $3,500 expenses that pop up in life on a routine basis. You just don't know when they're going to hit you. And if you have just that one revenue stream coming in, you're in a world of hurt, because if you don't have the second revenue stream, you're pulling out that plastic. You're going into debt.
Welcome back to Never in Reverse, always moving forward. Today, we've got a very special guest, Ron Kmetovicz.
My message fits on one hand. The first is behaviors to avoid. The second is behaviors to adopt. Third is meaningful work, meaningful employment. The fourth is investing wisely. And then the fifth is writing your success story and sharing it with other people. You do those 5 things, you will have achieved financial independence.
Got a very interesting story throughout his career, things he's passionate about, multiple revenue streams, helping youth get a leg up financially and creating some structure and investments. He is the author of Ghost Money, Pathway to Financial Independence.
Take it to heart, open a ghost account and contribute monthly, make it grow, get that second stream alive, and you can still do it in your 40s and 50s.
Ron, thank you, sir, for joining us today on Never in Reverse. Welcome back to Never in Reverse. I am your host, Doug Cox. I've got a very special guest today, Kmetovicz. So where are you joining us from today?
I live in the Reno Lake Tahoe area, and we have a ski resort out here called Mount Rose, and I live at the base of that mountain. Real nice location.
Have you resided in the Reno Lake Tahoe area for some time?
I have lived here since the late 80s. The migration west for me came from northeastern Pennsylvania, but
Wow.
I settled in Silicon Valley, a couple of decades in Silicon Valley, and with what I like to do, I'm an outdoor person. A lot of outdoor activities. So this was my home. I've been here for a long time.
Oh yeah, no, you got a beautiful playground there. Well, Ron, no, let's dive into today's topic and your passion, your interests, things that you've cultivated and learned through your career, and what's driven you to author Ghost Money, Pathway to Financial Independence. Tell us about your career in aerospace engineering tech. Tell us about you, Ron.
Okay, a little bit about me. The start is farm boy experience, northeastern Pennsylvania. It was my grandpa that had the farm. I'm an only child, so I grew up 7 miles removed from the nearest small town. So kind of isolated in a sea of adults. That was my world. So and it turned out that, didn't know it at the time, but it was a good world because the farm experience was an entrepreneurial experience.
100%.
My grandpa raised 8 kids through the Great Depression, and my dad was in electronics and was a pioneer in the formation of a cable TV industry.
Oh, no way.
So I had the electronics there, and so I grew up in that. Then I went to Penn State, got my engineering degree.
Oh, wow.
The 60s were ending. It was 1969 when I graduated from there. Silicon Valley was hopping, and I ended up getting a job in aerospace for 3 years at Goodyear Aerospace, due to a job that I had at Penn State as a research assistant. That job was ionospheric sounding. Ionospheric sounding is radar principles are involved. I ended up going to work for 3 years on side-looking radars, imaging radars. And then I migrated to Silicon Valley, Hewlett-Packard Laboratories, and almost 2 decades there. 2 decades of working for a boss, for a corporate structure, I was in heaven for a while, and then the inner me said, okay, it's time to get back to more rural living, more doing it by yourself. You don't need the corporate structure anymore. And so I went out and started doing my own things. I was in my early 40s at that point. Now
Wow.
I'm 78. So no regrets.
No, 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 no. And it's, the corporate career, I know at a young age, we're all trying to find our being. We're all trying to climb that corporate ladder. I kind of went through the same thing in the cable industry, by the way, and telecommunications and, the internet revolution, but through cable and then ultimately, fiber optic, which I enjoyed, but it ultimately led me here. But no, in a young age, that corporate structure, I was trying to climb that corporate ladder then again too. And it just eventually, the bloom kind of came off the rose. And I still felt like, employee 198, and there's something about, like even in our organization, we're a very tight knit group. There's really no chain of command. I mean, we're very ambitious individuals, our entire team. And it's nice to be part of something that it still has, communal culture, and that's kind of the way Fluid Conveyors is. And I don't know if that's kind of what led you down your path, kind of got tired of that corporate environment and
Well,
needed something different, or.
well, Doug, yes, because I got to a point where I'm an engineer at heart, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
The career progression was it was exciting because I did engineering for probably, I'd say, 7 to 8 years before I even thought about doing management type stuff. And I started to rise in the managerial ranks, business
Mm-hmm.
training. Uh, you learn all of these other things that go with corporate structure. I
Exactly.
enjoyed that too. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about business, to how to do things right by the numbers. Then the routine of it, just waking up day after day after day, doing the same thing over and over again. I lost interest. The creative side of me fell down, and it was a tough process too, because the hardest part of it was I was working with really, really gifted, great people.
Oh, I imagine.
Just really from all over the country, engineers assembled to do some really neat things. You talk about Wi-Fi, you talk about GPS, uh, secure
Uh,
communication systems, your telecom, cell phones. I mean, we were involved in all of that. But even with all that excitement, I got to the point where I said, nah, I've got to move on. And I knew from my entrepreneurial roots on the farm with my dad that it was time to step out. I was ready. So I did.
yeah.
And
So, what led you into this financial life inventory philosophy? And we'll dive into that. Was it that entrepreneurial spirit that you grew up with that ultimately cultivated this evolution for you and in a career path?
well, no, no. Uh, my financial career centered largely on it was a personal career. Uh, I for years in the Hewlett Packard days, a number of my associates and I, we got together and we developed algorithms for stock selection.
Wow.
Those algorithms were really good, okay, and we could spot emerging companies and make a purchase at a very, very low price in retrospect to what really happened to the company, and then watch the stock appreciation go up.
Mm-hmm.
Mathematically intense, a lot of oversight, a lot of visioning going into the process. So I was a personal stock picker, and I did personal stock picks for, oh geez, almost 50 years.
Wow.
Okay, okay, and I continue to do that to this day. Now, I wrote this book. Okay,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with stock picking. Okay, because Okay. The book exists because I'm 78 years old. About this time last year, my wife and I were talking about how are we going to pass on some financial literacy techniques to our great grandkids. Well, that was the motivation for Ghost Money, the Pathway to Financial Independence, sort of a legacy thing. And it has
Gotcha.
nothing to do with stock picking. Most people can't do stock picking, so
A
I
lot of
didn't go.
studying. Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, it's
it's a mathematical venture. Okay, to do that job well, and most people don't have the mathematical skill set to do it.
mhm.
So I wrote this book after observing my kids, my grandkids, uh, the interaction that I have with youth, and I do interact with youth quite a bit. My wife, jokes with me about some of the things I do, but you work with money and kids, people in their 20s. It's something I wanted to get documented. So the book is the document of how to, and here's the real catch on this one. What I describe is focused on people who are living paycheck to paycheck, one revenue stream. The book is about going from one revenue stream to two revenue streams. Once you get to two revenue streams, you'll figure out how to go to 3, 4, and 5. But the financial independence, my definition of it, is multiple revenue streams, minimal debt. So this is what I wrote the book for. It's for my great grandkids, and and I'm sharing it because other people have asked me to share what I know.
Yeah.
Okay, with them. So here I am. I'm trying to do some good. Okay, it's a quest to get the message out.
And I look at my father as an example. My father's got a much like entrepreneurial spirit as yourself, and he's always it throughout his career path. He's always been devoted to multiple revenue streams. And I mean, yeah, it's not a perfect world. There's failures, right? But I mean, he's never been afraid to fail and roll his sleeves up and try something new, and sometimes I wish I had that motivation and that ambition and some of that right side of my brain thinking in the fashion that he does. And he shares a lot of wealth and information, but he hasn't documented anything in a playbook. And I wish he, like you, for my kids, his grandkids, and even for myself, because some of those it was at a young age and I took it for granted without, leaning in and listening and, intuition and into it. But, in this conversation right now, I'm going, gosh dang, I want to go back and rewind the tape with him as well too, and talk about, his ideas and putting things into action and taking the risks and the rewards along with it. But I mean, no, there's a lot to share in knowledge in through experience, as I'm sure you have.
Well, yeah, yeah. Youth is hungry for this, Doug. Okay, a couple of things about this one. Okay, and this story repeats for me multiple times. I walk around with the book and I autograph them and hand them out to people. Okay,
That's awesome.
if I cross paths at the but we had a water heater go out in our home.
Hmm.
It was a slow leak, so I was able to get 3 bids. Well, the bids came in, and I ended up selecting. I had a high of $7,500 for a water heater. Okay, and then there were two that were closer, and I ended up picking a plumbing company that we've used over the years. Anyway, I probably would have gone with them first shot, but anyway, it was a $3,500 job to replace a water heater. That's a nice sized chunk of change.
Yeah.
If I were living on, and my wife and I, we talked about it. If we were living on a one income paycheck to paycheck, Social Security income,
Mm-hmm.
we would have been really in a tight spot.
Right.
That, when you get that big of a hit unexpectedly, boom, you really feel it. So that would be on the retiree side, living off of that one paycheck.
Right.
You roll that back to youth, okay? There are $3,500 expenses that pop up in life
Oh,
on a
it's
routine basis. You just
right.
don't know when they're
Exactly.
going to hit you.
Yep.
So, and if you have just that one revenue stream coming in, you're in a world of hurt,
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't have the second revenue stream or the buffer zone set up for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you're pulling out that plastic. You're going into debt to
Exactly.
cover a normal living expense.
Right.
And that is precisely the wrong action to take, because the hole gets deeper and deeper and deeper once you get on that path. So my kids, my grandkids, they know about, hey, we're going to have that second revenue stream, and when you have that, if you need to cover a big expense, it'll be there. And
Mm-hmm.
and in the good times, when you're putting the money into it, okay, it's growing.
Right.
Okay. And so you go through that process of putting money into it every month. I call it the ghost account, but you put money into this ghost account every month. The ghost account is earning somewhere around 10%, and life goes on, and you give it 15, 20, 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
You have your buffer, and by the time that amount of time goes by, you're going to have a nice chunk of change to really sustain you, okay, for the remainder of your life. And so that's just two revenue streams. It gives you
Mm-hmm.
that power. Now,
Right.
and like I said earlier, knowing two, you'll figure out 3, 4, and 5.
Right. Right. Yeah. The ambition will be there. It's funny. You mentioned ghost account, and with my kids, for lack of better terms, we call it oh shit money.
Oh,
You
okay.
oh shit money. So it, in the money that they earn, we ask them to save 75-80% of that, because you need your oh shit money, because oh shit moments come up,
Uh-huh.
and you need to be prepared, because it's not a perfect world. Things happen, big expenses happen, and like you said, if you're going into debt, now are you just paying the monthly on that, the interest? I mean, are you putting anything toward principal? It's probably difficult to do when you're paycheck to paycheck, and that hole just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, as we know. I don't know the true statistic, but statistically, I know there is a large portion of the U.S. population that lives paycheck to paycheck. And I can't remember the figure off the top of my head, but I want to say it's greater than 60%. If
Doug, the numbers I see on that statistic, around the 60% area. The folks are paycheck to paycheck with no second revenue stream, minimal reserves, under $1,000.
Right. Yeah.
It's a really, really tough place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes itself worse as time goes on. The way to break it is to listen to what I have to say. And I'm not the only guy saying this. A lot of people know what I'm saying, okay? About the only thing I'm doing that might be a little different is I've documented it,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about it, okay, in the public domain, okay? So that's why we're talking today.
Exactly.
Just getting this message out is important to me.
No, and I think it's important for society in general. I mean, it's an interesting world, that we live in, and the need and the want for the latest and greatest toy, gadget, phone, car, yet it's like we've lost sense of what our means are and what really matters in our world. It's a lot of it is just the latest and the greatest, so then and this probably leads into, where are the problems in, financial planning in today's world? Why do people fail at financial planning? from your experience and what you see?
Well, let's see, I get my hand on the screen here. 5 steps. Okay. My message fits on one hand.
Okay.
Okay. The first is behaviors to avoid. The second is behaviors to adopt. Okay, so the first two are behavior oriented. You have to do things certain ways, okay, to be successful on a multiple revenue stream life. And then the third is meaningful work, meaningful employment. The fourth is investing wisely. And then the fifth is writing your success story and sharing it with other people. You do those 5 things, you're going to be in good shape. You will have achieved financial independence. The interesting part about it is the dollar amount that it takes to do those 5 steps. You're not talking millions here. Or early in life, when you're in your 20s and 30s, if you can bump yourself up into the hundreds to $200,000 area in a ghost account, you've got your cushion. Okay, by the time you're into 40s or so, you're going to grow that amount, and it's going to grow in proportion to your needs. Okay, many people don't need $1 million to be financially independent. They could do it on a lot less. Okay, some people need more, but you work through the process of building that second revenue stream and eventually your third, where you have these revenue streams supporting your life and your family and what you want to do. Give it a few decades, and you're actually the peace of mind, the Buddhist in you
Yes.
becomes a
Yes.
very content figure.
Yep. Now, and let
The
me ask
suffering
you.
goes down.
Yes, exactly. In the worry, financial worry. When you say ghost account, are you talking for the audience here? Is this a savings account? Is this a Roth? Is this, separate of your 401k maybe? What is the structure? What is a financial structure and what you're mentioning as a ghost account?
Okay, I can tell you how the structure works. Okay, it's all of what you described. You start with a high school kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
The Roth, the 401k. Okay, that's not really in the field of view for a high school kid.
No.
Okay, but what is in the field of view is a custodial account.
Okay.
So mom and dad, grandma or grandpa, they go to Schwab, Fidelity, whatever. They open up a custodial account for the child or grandchild. The child gets a job in high school, starts making a couple of bucks, doing this, doing that, learning about life. A good percentage of that job proceeds goes into the account that was opened by mom or dad or grandma or grandpa on the custodial side. Now, if you go the route that I do, my advice to people is balanced mutual funds, stocks and bonds that pay around 10%. There are funds that have been around for multiple decades. One has been around since 1929. You put your money into those. It turns out that they're tax efficient. The turnover on these funds is not very high. So you don't know about taxes when you're young, okay? And it turns out if you go this route, you don't have to worry about them very much. Your money is going into, and that's your ghost account when you're a high school or young adult. I see typically high school kids that get reasonably good second jobs. I mean, they're making 15 to 20 bucks an hour.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Today.
And they work 15 to 20 hours a week. They don't really have big expenses because mom and dad are footing the bill or, whatever's going on. So
Exactly.
this ghost account builds really quick. So they're coming out of high school with multiples of tens of thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they know about money and they know about investing.
Mm-hmm.
They know it because they are learning by doing. It's their hard work. It's their skin in the game when they open this ghost account and contribute to it monthly. And it's their prize when graduation shows up and there's 10, 15, $20,000 there on graduation day. And then the lot comes is, oh my God, do I spend it? And the answer is, for most of them, once they've gotten this far, they go, no, 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 no.
No, because they understand the value
they,
in that nest
they
egg, and they've
understand the
seen that
value of it.
interest growth, and and that's a good point, because now they've got an interest, an invested interest into it. They're seeing the growth, financial growth in and around that. And do I really need the new iPhone, or is my iPhone
Yeah.
fine with where it's at? Am I really going to pull, I don't know, iPhone 8, $900 nowadays? I mean, is it
Oh,
really
yeah.
financially worth it? And it
Mm-hmm.
just makes you question, do you need it or not?
Yep.
But gosh, yeah, no, thank you for sharing that, and those ideals around that, because I I was late to the party in a lot of that with my own children, and just young, starting a family, built a home, during the recession, and I mean, just I was late getting that jump start with my kids, and I wish I could have had some educational tools like you're sharing with us today for youth, not just for youth, but it's never too late to start, right?
Right. Right. And Doug, like, you talk about step four, okay, which is invest wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I wrote Ghost Money so that there's no math in it. Okay, there's no equations. Okay.
My speed
Eh,
right there. No math.
okay.
No, I'm kidding.
And no,
Yeah.
and you're not alone. And the fact of the matter is you don't need it. Okay, you pick one of these good balanced funds, you stick with it. That's all you
Mm-hmm.
have to know.
Right.
And then if you get into business school, you get more training, you do things. Yeah, then you can get into more refined forms of investing. But uh, the world that's out there, I'm a lone voice. People like me are lone voices because I pick the wrong market. I'm offering a book to people that are paycheck to paycheck people.
Right.
Okay, I'm offering some advice to high school kids. Okay, who don't have an income yet. Okay, so you might say that you know as a financial guy, my clients have no money. Okay, and they won't for a long time. And but that's not my point. Okay, my point is to get the bedrock formed so that people can move forward and start to build their
Right.
wealth through
Right.
time.
Right. Yeah. No, it's and in the next question here, financial life inventory. What does it what is that what is the concept around financial life inventory in your philosophy, or in your understanding, or in your words?
That it flows from our discussion. The checking off how much of a buffer you have between your primary revenue stream and your second revenue stream. You take inventory of that. As time goes on, your buffer where you become less calamity sensitive is a very important thing. So that should build with time. And the second is to just count the number of revenue streams you have available to you through life, and hopefully you could go to two by listening to Ghost Money principles,
Yeah.
and after Ghost Money, you'll have 3 and 4 and 5 through your life. So it's two things for financial inventory is to measure your buffer, okay, and I like to be measurable in everything I talk about and suggest, and then to count your revenue streams and the number that you have. If you have two, that's a big number compared to
Yeah,
one. Okay,
exactly.
you're so far ahead of the game when you do that.
And for people in knowing and doing, and I'll use my brother as a prime example. My brother used to go to garage sales or Facebook Marketplace, and he would find things that he knew that he could resell for a profit. So you don't always have to have these big visions, right? And I think maybe that's some intimidation for people in a second revenue stream, right? It's where you can think small, think simple, find your niche, find your knowledge around certain things. And
Doug, precisely. We're all in a different state of revenue stream flow. For some people, and believe me, I live in the ski world here. Okay.
me too.
Yeah, you have Bachelor.
Expensive ski world. Yeah.
You have Bachelor. It's a great place. I've been there a number of times.
Yep.
I got some stories to tell you about Bachelor skiing, but the you look at the youth that comes and works in the ski industry. A lot of them are in the party mode. Okay,
100%. Yep.
okay, they're going to be paycheck to paycheck people until they break those habits. Okay,
Right.
that's a certainty. But then you take the ones that are serious into the sport, serious into the business aspects and social aspects of the game. They come through and work the industry and come out with a wealth of experience and done correctly, learn the fine art of seasonal employment. And you talk about multiple revenue streams. That's where I'm headed.
That's a great point.
If you can work seasonal, you know how to manage multiple revenue streams.
Yeah. That's a good
And
point.
okay, they learn that.
Yeah.
And they're here and they're here for the passion and they're here for the seasons changing so that they do one game at one time, another game at another. And I talk to people about thinking about things in a seasonal basis because the season that works for us is your seasons change as you get older. Different things, it ebbs and it flows and it comes and it goes, and if you have the flexibility in how you earn a living as time goes on, it's going to be a real asset for you.
No, that's a great concept. Yeah, I didn't think of it in that fashion. You take what we used to call ski bums, right? I mean, they seasonally, they worked the resorts, they skied, they did their thing, and well, season comes to an end. Now, okay, the resort or the mountain's closed. Now I got to find a summer job, another revenue stream. Well, now you're diving into another industry that you're gaining knowledge in. Well, now you've got knowledge in two different industries, two different seasons. I mean, there's some things I think for listeners, young listeners, even us all, of those concepts of, wait, I've got some knowledge in and around these different things seasonally. Maybe there's revenue opportunities for me around these concepts. I didn't think of it in that fashion, but that's a great perspective. Great perspective.
I'll share a fun one with you on this multiple revenue streams. Okay, my grandson, he's 16 years old. He's a junior at Incline High, and okay, and
Okay.
the thing that goes for him is he picked up a job at a bike rental agency that I don't know if you've heard of the Flume Trail or not, but
Yeah.
it's a people come from all over the world to ride the Flume
Oh,
Trail.
yeah.
It's okay. It's a hopping place, and he works in this rental shop, at the base of the trail where they rent out the bikes, repair the bikes,
Yep.
and he's got himself a nice little side hustle, okay, through his high school time. So that works. That's revenue stream one for him. He and some buddies got together, and we have people that come to Tahoe in the summer with some pretty fancy cars, and he and his buddy are into photography, and they know the places where you can take your cars that you come to Tahoe with and get some really nice shots of your car with Tahoe in the background. So that they have this little business that they're building, okay, of taking nice cars to nice places around Tahoe and taking pictures of them. Okay. So that's revenue stream two. Okay. The kid's in high school. So he's thinking like this. They had the benefit, my grandkids and kids had the benefit of hanging out with me.
Hmm.
And while they were growing up, it wasn't documented. So at least now I've got the documentation in place for them so that when we sit around and talk about things, we talk about it now in terms of the Ghost Money book.
The
Okay.
ghost
We have a,
money book. Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
we have a common language.
Yeah,
That
I
helps.
bet. I bet.
Yeah.
But that's great to pass that knowledge and in experience, not only within your family, but the passion to share it with youth in general, because I'm sure your grandson is sharing a lot of these ideas with his friends and they're cultivating ideas like this photography thing. So here it is. It's pollinating it, across and spreading across youth within the community, then again too, organically, which is neat.
Yeah, the book is in high school, no doubt about it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the kids are teaching each other. Okay. There's no teacher involved. And that's probably the best way to spread the word anyway, is for the people that are living it and doing it to share it with others and explain. So it's an organic process, and that
Yeah.
heck that's why we're talking, Doug. I mean, that's the beauty of podcast world. This is an organic world. People will listen to what we're talking about, and they'll go, "Hey, maybe I should move in that direction too. It makes sense for me."
Exactly. Or even me as a father of four young kids, of things that I can influence. It's giving me ideas. It's giving me passion now to share some ideas and my experiences with them, but also some investment strategies. I'm excited to read the book.
Okay.
I'd like to have my kids read it as well. And I think this could be, great dinner table conversation for us, about ideas, and then just helping creating, that bedrock foundation for them that they can grow into and understand and appreciate, So for me as a father, I mean, I'm seeing some advantages and in excitement to read the book and share, some things with my children as well too. But thank you so much for joining us today and in sharing your passion, your ideas, and for our listeners, viewers, check out Ghost Money, the pathway to, financial independence. May it be for you, may it be for your kids. It's never too late to start, right?
Never too late to start. Okay, unless it's too late. Okay.
It could be.
I say this, and this is a product of age. The paycheck to paycheck crowd that takes that form of life into their 50s, late 50s, 60s, they're really, it's hard to break out of it at that point. It becomes too late. So this message has got to go to people that are starting out up to their 40s, maybe 50s. Okay, this is for them to
Yeah.
take it to heart, open a ghost account, okay, and contribute monthly, make it grow, okay. Get that second stream alive and well. If
Mhm.
you're living on one revenue stream, you can still do it if in your 40s and 50s.
And don't be intimidated by it. Give it a shot. I think
Give it a
that's
shot. Yeah.
that's the hardest part, I think, for a lot of folks, and even for myself in my 20s and 30s, was the intimidation, and but again, you can start small, you know, um, and just keep the creative thinking, creative entrepreneurial ideas in mind. It's like my brother. My brother loves to buy used golf carts, and he fixes them up, and he's found a niche of where his buy sell is, where his margins need to be, what he can put into them, and it's his hobby. And I mean, he flips them on the side and refurbishes them, puts new batteries in them, sells them, and he uses that for his fun chips,
Yeah.
while the rest of his day-to-day paycheck and his career and what he's in goes to support the family and save, so
Yeah.
simple ideas. Yeah.
So he's got multiple revenue streams. He's on the right path. Okay. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the trick. You do that. And if you have 4 children, you've got a world of responsibility when you look at that. We had 3, and time goes on. You nurture and nourish and do what you can as best you can. Right. And fortunately for us, we had fine rewards, and the kids have grandkids, so we're happy.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
But Ron, thank you, sir, so much. Audience, viewers, listeners, check out Ghost Money, Pathway to Financial Independence. Ron, I really appreciate you joining us today, and I look forward to reading the book. So I'm going to be knocking on your door here for that. So
I'm available, and what I tell people that are local here is I come out and just speak to groups. Whoever wants me, no charge, but you have to be within 100 miles of Reno, Tahoe. Okay.
Maybe we'll come see you then. Yeah. Reason for a road trip. But yes. No, hopefully we'll have you back here again soon and kind of share, some feedback from my experience in reading this, and yeah, maybe some other educational content for viewers and listeners. Thank you.
Well, Doug, thank you. It's been a pleasant time.
To our viewers, listeners, thank you for joining us on Never in Reverse. Like, subscribe, leave comments. You can find us on YouTube, all the social media platforms, all the audio platforms, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're there. Again, Ron, thank you, sir, and hope to see you again soon.
Till we meet again. Pleasure, Doug.